Welcome to How To Craft Fair. So, you've made the art, you've made the crafts, and now you want to sell your work at a market. Presenting your creations to the world can be scary, but you can do this. If you're organized and prepared with a vision for what you want your crafting business to be from the very beginning, you'll have great odds of setting yourself up for success. Just follow these steps to get yourself started. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is to identify the theme of your crafts and your business overall. So, what category of crafts are your favorite to make? And when I mention category, I mean glasswork, metalwork, woodwork, jewelry, fashion, clothing, ceramics, pottery, textile, crochet, that kind of thing. Envision what items are going to fill your booth someday. And you want your booth to have an identity. And there's nothing wrong with having a couple of different things that might be outside of your, main lane of creation. But at the end of the day, you want your booth to definitely have an identity. So if I can make a suggestion, I would say to pick something that you're most passionate about long term. Okay, because ideally you're setting yourself up for many years of attending shows and creating artwork and crafts for these shows. So maybe it's something that has a special meaning to you. But find out what you're passionate about long term, and that's going to tell you a lot about what that booth is going to look like someday. So that's your first step. Okay, so now that you have the identity to your booth more or less figured out, it's time to start thinking about naming your business. So what you want to do is you want to find a balance between something that is catchy and memorable, but also relevant to your artwork and your crafts that you're creating. So you don't want to have something that's completely out of left field that has nothing to do with your artwork, or you don't want to have something that's like 40 words long that's impossible to remember. You want to find that sweet spot, something that's, kind of short and sweet, easy to remember, but also has something to do with your creations. Keep in mind that you may face some obstacles when it comes to social media handles or even your email. So you want to create a name that's unique enough that when you eventually want to get yourself onto Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or whatever it might be, or even when you create your email, that it's going to be something that's available to you. And a big thing to keep in mind is that you want all of your social media handles to match. Okay, so you don't want it to be one thing for Facebook, one thing for Instagram, a different thing for TikTok. Like, you don't want that. You want to make it as easy as possible for people to find you. So just an example for myself for How To Craft Fair, my handle is at How To Craft Fair everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and the email is howtocraftfair@gmail.com. It's super simple, so that's just an example of like how you want to find something that is basically the same all the way across the board. Eventually you're probably going to print, banners and flyers for your business someday, and it's going to be pretty awesome to be able to just have one handle for everything. So just keep that in mind from the very beginning, and you're going to save yourself a lot of headaches. And to expand upon that note, you want to make sure that your business name is unique, so that if you form a business entity, which we're going to talk about later, you want to be sure that that's available. Okay, so for instance, corporations or LLC or sole proprietorship or things like that, whatever it might be, you want it to be available to you. So that's another reason why you want to go with something kind of unique, so that you ensure that that's available to you. So speaking of, I want to bring in a special guest, Tasha, my wife, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about corporations versus LLCs versus sole proprietorships. Ready? Here we go.
Hi there, guys. I was asked to come in today to talk to you a little bit about the different types of entities and registrations that you can do for your new business or even your existing business that you may not have really known about. I'm bringing this advice to you as a former business owner and a paralegal, However, I'm not an attorney and this is not legal advice. Consider it professional courtesy. Something you want to keep in mind is that there is state licensing based on the entity that you choose. Everyone has different documentation. For example, in Nevada, when you register with the state, you also get your state business license. So that's really handy that it comes in one, but not all states will do that. If you're questioning yourself, you can find a lot of information on the web, or you can consult with an attorney or a CPA for more information.
And then just for the newer viewers, or the newer vendors, what is a CPA?
A CPA is a certified public accountant.
Okay.
So you can find those just about anywhere in your town usually. Something else to keep in mind is that each city and county may require different tax payments, local licensing, seller's permits, and more. Be sure to check with your home city as well as any cities that you may be working in just to stay compliant. There may be times when you're exempt, but it is safer to check rather than be sorry later down the road. If you are a food vendor, you want to be sure to check out with your health department if there's any certificates or registrations that you may need as well. And then lastly, don't forget about taxes. They are evil but necessary. You'll want to check with a CPA. They can help you kind of field your way through that, maybe even just your first year, and then you can handle it after that.
Yeah, and this might seem like a lot, but you can kind of use this as a checklist to keep yourself, organized and on the right track. And, for the newer vendors, what's something that they can do to not get overwhelmed by this process?
One thing that's really nice is that when you start the process and you're going to these different city departments and getting information or state departments, they usually have a checklist that you can take home with you, and that'll keep you on track and let you know if you need a document. Usually it'll say, if you are in this column, you'll need these documents. If you're in this column, you need these documents. So it's a good place to start.
Okay, well, awesome. Well, thanks for taking a few minutes to help the vendors out, and appreciate you coming in.
No problem. Bye, guys.
All right, so another thing that you're going to want to take care of is getting yourself set up with some basic marketing materials. So first, try to come up with a business logo or an image or a font or something that represents your business that you feel like you're going to stick with for a while. And go ahead and invest in some business cards. Those are an absolute must at your booth. And your business cards should include your new logo if you've made one, your social media handles that you might have made, and definitely your email address so that people can contact you directly. A lot of people on their business cards are also including QR codes on the back, which can be a link to your website or your social media sites or whatever you want it to link to. You can have that on the card as well. Also at your booth, some other marketing materials that you're going to want to have are a couple of signs and maybe a banner. Consider a table runner as well. But what I will say is that you want to keep it simple and inexpensive as far as your startup costs, especially at first, okay? So as time goes on, it's just going to be natural that you'll always want to be making improvements and enhancements to your signs and banners and marketing materials. So when you're just kind of getting started, just get yourself set up with a few basics so that when somebody visits your booth, they know who you are, they know what you make, and how to contact you. So let me know what type of entity you've chosen for your business and why you chose it. And also, I want to let you know that this is the first video in the Becoming a Craft Fair Vendor series. Okay, so be sure to check out the whole series by clicking this right here. Thanks for watching.